Hi, this is Zoe Bywater from Belvoir, Bedford, and today we wanted to talk to Ros Higgs from the Mortgage Advice Bureau. As we know, we've been into lockdown now for about 6 weeks, and some of you may be having some concerns about, how things affect you if you've been furloughed, whether you can remortgage at the moment. So we've got a few questions for Ros, and hopefully Ros will be able to give you the answers that you're looking for. Good morning, Ros.
Good morning, Zoe. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Are you all right if we just crack on with the questions and then let's see how we get on with this, and if there's anything else you want to say or anything you want to sort of discuss with the public out there, that if you can supply your contact details at the end, and then people can obviously give you a call if they've got any other concerns or questions that they might want answering.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Okay, so the first question I've got is, obviously some people may be furloughed at the moment and not on full pay, and people are asking me is whether or not they can actually get a mortgage whilst they're on furlough.
Yes. So a lot of lenders they're changing their criteria on a daily basis. So it makes it a little bit complicated for me in my job, but it's good. So at the very start of all of this, a lot of lenders pulled products, they pulled rates, and they just kind of, because it's such an uncertain time, they didn't really know what's going on either. So for them at the start, yes, it was a case of actually let's strip it back. The maximum loan to value will be 60%. So you've got 40% deposit that you would need to put down in that situation, which is the majority of people. That means it wouldn't have worked. Now, as time goes by, lenders are re-releasing rates, hiring their loan to value as well. So at the moment, yes, you can definitely get a mortgage. We've still got rates that are being released that are kind of 90% loan to value. So if you've got 10% deposit, I think that we're getting back to the 5% deposit mark as well, which is great news. In terms of the income that will be assessed if you're furloughed, the majority of lenders will only take your 80% of your basic income, and they'll be able to use that for the affordability.
Oh, great. That's brilliant news. So just to sort of clarify, if somebody was on a commission, it changed recently for us as an industry that if you're on a commission, and I think it's the same for like the car trade, that will be included in the furlough monies. So are you saying that the mortgage companies wouldn't include the commission side of that, or are we just looking at the 80% total sort of income salary?
So it would be 80%. So if your company has looked at your last year's P60 and taken your income figure from that, so including your commission and anything else like that, and they're paying you 80% of that, they would take that figure, so the 80% of last year's income, if you work it that way, if you've got commission and things like that.
Okay, thanks for that. So obviously there are a lot of people out there that may already have a mortgage, and are falling on hard times, because despite the government giving a lot of help, there may be some people that are falling through the cracks at the moment. So if they can't afford to pay the mortgage, what should they be doing at the moment?
So there's two options. Really two options. So you can either take a payment holiday, which a lot of lenders have come out and offered. And the other option would be to remortgage and look at what your options are there in terms of reducing your monthly outgoings with that as well. So the payment holiday option, I would really, really stress that is only if you really, really have to. The reason being that it's not, you take 2 months off, your balance still carries on going down, and it's all nice and lovely and rosy for everybody. The problem with taking the payment holiday is that, say your monthly payments are £500 a month, say you have 2 months worth of payment holidays, just to make my maths easy. Once you start paying again, your mortgage balance will be £1,000 higher. So it will take into account those 2 months that you've had off. The lender will then recalculate what your monthly payment will be going forward, and say your mortgage term is 30 years, you're paying off that extra £1,000 that you haven't paid over the next 30 years. So in terms of interest that you're going to be paying in addition, there's a lot.
Right. So would some mortgage companies allow you to sort of, say your mortgage payments were £500 a month, like we just said, would they allow you to pay like £250 instead, and then just make up the difference later on?
Absolutely, and I would say that that's a really great idea as well, because it means that you're contributing towards it still. You're doing something. You definitely need to speak to your lender to confirm with them that this is okay, and to confirm that you've got their consent to do this. If you just cancel your monthly payment and then set up a standing order for a lower amount, it will be marked down as a missed payment on your credit file. that's going to cause you a whole nother load of issues in the future. But yes, it's great if you can contribute towards the payment. Definitely do, because that's going to help you out in the long term.
So, I'm throwing another question in here, just in respect to what you've just said. If people are really worried at the moment about this and are not feeling confident to be able to speak to their lenders, is it something that you might be able to help people with?
Definitely. So we're running kind of mortgage clinics, where it means that you can phone me and you can get any advice as to what your lender's view on it, whether that they're allowing payment holidays at the moment. That's certainly something that I can help you with and just point you in the right direction. There's no fee for that. There's no charge. It is purely just to make sure that you're getting a service that you need at this time, and you're getting that information as well without having to potentially be on hold to your lender for 6 hours as everybody else is trying to call them at the same time. We've got that information readily available to us, so do use a broker, use somebody that can provide that information to you. Definitely.
Great stuff. I think that in this time where everybody's got a lot on their minds and have got a lot of worries, that would be really helpful. So thanks for that, Ros. Another question is, someone's in the process of buying a house at the moment. Will they be able to move, or when will they be able to move?
So, difficult question. How long is a piece of string, pretty much? So with this one, if you're a key worker, so if you work for the NHS, then yes, you can still move house. I have seen a couple of completions go through where a property is empty. So whether that be a new build or whether it be somebody's buy to let that they're planning to sell, I have seen a few of those going through. It is really kind of down to your solicitor how much legwork that they're putting in, whether that they're pushing it through. But the government advice at this time is, if you can delay it, do wait until it's safe to kind of go outside and do these things where you can still be socially distanced and stay safe.
So just on the solicitors front, in your experience, does it feel like they've shut up shop now, or are solicitors still working to get sales over the line? What's your experience been recently?
It's hard to get hold of them, isn't it? It usually is, though. From what I've kind of seen and heard, is that most of them, their main offices are closed, they're not going in. They've got a couple of partners or directors that are working at home that are still trying to push things through. But given that being the situation, your time to get through to them is going to be delayed. It will be slower to get hold of somebody. But that's kind of the new normal, getting hold of any big organisation at the moment, unfortunately, where there is a delay because the amount of people that can answer the phone, be readily available, is less because so many people have been furloughed. As I say, we're still trying to push things through. I've got a couple of solicitors that we work with that have been quite good with keeping on to things and helping us. We use a panel of solicitors, so we work with sort refer.
So I've got another question here, Ros. We've talked about somebody who's already started the process of purchasing a house, but are we able to still look for houses and make offers and buy property during this difficult time?
Yeah, so definitely. There's a lot of estate agents out there that have kind of done a lot of legwork before we've gone into this. So they've been out to properties and done videos of the house so that you can still look at these online. There's also a lot of estate agents out there that are offering kind of virtual viewings as well, so that current owners will show you around and kind of see what you think of the place. You can offer on a property that way without actually ever physically seeing the property. It is down to personal kind of choice whether that's the right thing for you to do. You might want to wait to offer on a property until you've actually physically gone and seen it. However, yes, you can still buy a house, you can still start that process, you can get an agreement in principle from a lender, you can make the offer on the property, and you can do those things as well, subject to seeing the property once we're out of the other end of this. So it might be, I've had a client recently actually that there's a property on the market for 210,000. He's gone in slightly lower than that, he's offered 205,000. His kind of idea is, that's fine for now, we've agreed the sale subject to kind of everything going on, everything being okay, all the searches, the survey being okay. However, when I can view this property, it might be June, if I go and view it and there's a big problem that comes up, I'm not quite happy with something, then the price will be renegotiable. That's an option. And also that you're still in that position where you can pull out. As long as you don't exchange, you can still pull out of the purchase. So if you're serious about buying a property, you don't want to lose it, yeah, you can still offer on it. We can still move the mortgage forward as well. The one delay that there might be with the mortgage as well is that the valuation, if the mortgage lender needs a physical valuation, so somebody to actually go out to the property, have a look around, check that it's structurally sound, that could delay it, because obviously with everything going on at the moment, that's not seen as essential. They don't have to go out and be in these properties at this time. So it might be that it's a few weeks down the road when surveyors are allowed back to work and are able to carry that out for you, but we can still get the legwork done in the meantime.
Okay, that's brilliant. In addition to that, obviously, if you've had a mortgage for a couple of years and it might be sort of time to remortgage, are lenders actually offering that service at the moment as well, or is it going to have to wait till after the lockdown?
For a remortgage?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for a remortgage, yes, that's absolutely fine. You can actually you can approach your own lender yourself, or you can approach your current lender through your broker and look to remortgage your property. You could do it with other lenders as well. That's absolutely fine. Again, there might be that delay because of that valuation. However, if you're doing a product switch with your current lender, as long as it's like for like, then they shouldn't need to go and see the property again because they would have already valued it. That's definitely an option that's there that a lot of people are taking advantage of at the moment. Again, you can speak to a broker. I can see what your current options would be with your current lender or what your options would be elsewhere. If it's going to be easier for you to stay with your current lender, we can have that conversation, make the right decision, being informed about all of your other options.
So for me, not being an expert in this, can you just explain to me and the public who might be better clued up than I am, what's the difference then between a remortgage and a rate switch?
So rate switch is when, so say you've got 100 grand mortgage with Barclays, a rate switch would simply be you talk to Barclays and say, I would like to see what my new options are for rates now. What are your offerings for 2-year, 3-year, 5-year fixed? They'll come back to you, give you a couple of different options, and you'll say, okay, great, I'd like to go with that 2-year fixed, for example. So you're staying with the same lender, nothing else is changing, the balance is staying the same, the term is staying the same, everything like that. It is purely just that rate that would be changing. So that's a rate switch. For a remortgage, it means that we're approaching an entirely different lender. It might be that they've got lower rates than your current lender. It might be that the options are better. They're more, what's the right word? More applicable to you in this time. So say, for example, if you say, actually, I'm struggling to afford my mortgage at the moment and I don't know how long that's going to be an issue. I'd like to extend the term of my mortgage to reduce my payments down. It might be that actually going to a different lender is a better option, and you're going to be able to do that with them.
Right, thank you for that. That makes more sense to me now. So I appreciate that. Just finally then, in terms of Mortgage Advice Bureau and what you offer, are there any other products other than mortgages that you can help people with? Say, for example, they're struggling financially, or they're worried about losing their job in the future or something like that. Are there any other products available at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't only kind of make sure that we get you in the property and you can buy your home, your dream home, but we then want to make sure that you can stay in your property as well. And that's a really, really key part of it for us to protect you. So whether that be life insurance, your critical illness cover, income protection as well is something that we can still offer. Income protection is something that would pay out in the event of you not being able to work for any reason, whether that's if you were in an accident or whatever that might be. And COVID-19 coronavirus is covered for that as well. So if you have a day one policy, so it starts paying out on the first day that you can't work, that would cover any time off that you need to take if you are diagnosed with coronavirus. There's a lot of other products as well that we can offer. At the moment, we can't offer unemployment cover. So that is something that is also really important to have, something that would make sure that if you were made redundant, then it would pay out. However, with everything going on at the moment, they've kind of pulled that out of the way. That is something that would be available again in the future, though.
Okay, thanks for that, Ross. I think with all of this at the moment, I think what we're trying to do is we're not here to try and sell. It's just that we're trying to reach out to anybody that might be worrying about anything on a financial standpoint, and just sort of open up our arms to say, look, we're here and we're willing to speak to you. And if you've got any worries, that you can get in contact. Do you have your contact details? What's the best way of reaching you at the moment, bearing in mind you're not in the office?
Yeah, so I'm on the phone as normal. So my direct line is 07543 746 122, and my email address is rosalind.higgs@mab.org.uk. I can leave that in the comments as well because you're not going to be able to spell my name.
I will probably flash that up at the bottom or at the beginning or during, so that's great stuff. Thanks very much for your time today, Rosa. I really appreciate you doing that, and hopefully, you know, anyone that has got any worries will get in touch.